Recording time. Welcome to the 6th episode of Serve. If this is your first time here, Serve is my series where every Saturday I try to show you guys some of my favorite recipes, cooking methods, and techniques. Today we have a pretty famous dish in this household. It's the ultimate comfort food, baked mac and cheese. And I'm not going to be making it exactly how my mom and dad makes it because I think I have a few improvements that I can make to the recipe. But yeah, let's just get started. Starting things off with our pasta of choice, I will be using elbows. My family normally uses rigatoni or penne, but I just prefer just the classic macaroni shape every time. For our cheese, we will be using a blend of Monterey Jack and sharp cheddar. I'll also be using this Parmesan later on, and this is real, like authentic Parmesan. Next, we have some whole milk, and yes, it's whole milk this time, not that fat-free thing I had last time. And some heavy whipping cream. For the meat, my family usually uses Spam, but this time I'm gonna try it with my favorite sausage kielbasa, some salt, all-purpose flour, some butter, a colander, and a bowl to put the cooked pasta in. Make sure your colander also only has one working handle, otherwise this recipe will not work. A saucepan that is definitely too small for the amount of pasta that we're cooking, but more about that later. And lastly, my favorite, my carbon steel pan. So originally I thought that this pan would be just big enough to handle the amount of pasta I would be cooking in it. But I quickly found out that it was definitely not. I brought the water to a boil, salted it, and yeah, I'm showing you that this is a pound of pasta. Right before I decided to pour the pasta in, I thought, maybe this water is, a little too much. So I took like a 1/4 cup of water out and thought that it would be fine then. Yeah, it was not fine. So I did the responsible thing and I transferred it to a bigger pot. So yeah, don't be like me. If you're boiling something, just boil it in a bigger pot. The worst that can happen is you use like too much water or something, I don't know. Not a word. Since the water is already hot, it doesn't take much time to come back to a boil. And this should be a good time for me to say, I'm not really going to include any measurements or cooking time or anything like that in this voiceover, but of course I will link a video for the original recipe in the description. While the pasta cooks, I'm going to go ahead and cube up my sausages, and once the pasta is cooked thoroughly but not too soft, we'll go ahead and strain it. I poured the pasta back into the small saucepan just so I can use the bigger pot to make our cheese sauce. Now these sausages are pre-cooked, but I just for some reason wanted them to be like really crispy and like cooked fully and all the way through before I added them to the pasta. But once they got some nice color, I just set them aside. Now for our cheese, first we need to make, I think, what they call a bechamel. Bechamel. Which is like a flour and butter kind of like doughy base for the cheese to kind of stick to and melt into. All it takes is equal parts melted butter and all-purpose flour, whisking over heat, some milk and heavy cream. Like I said, no measurements and no direct directions here. I just grated my cheese off camera because I kind of forgot to show it. But we're just going to toss it in and stir till smooth. Seasoning with cayenne and garlic powder before adding back our pasta. Stirring well to make sure that there are no noodles left uncovered. And that's the mac and cheese done, but we still need to bake it. So I load the mac and cheese back into the saucepan and add in my cooked sausage, mixing them in well. Now we can grate a thin layer of Parmesan over everything, seasoning one more time with cayenne and garlic, setting our broiler to normal and allowing that cheese to get melty and crispy on top. Now, after all of the delays, I finally get the moment that I waited over a week for. As you can see from these close-up angles, this thing just came out of the oven and it's steaming hot, but I still decided to plate up an entire bowl of it and eat the entire thing right there on the spot.
of course, it was absolutely delicious, and like I said, I've been waiting like over a week to eat this. This footage is a couple days old. I recorded it ahead of time so I wouldn't have to do it today, and I'm very glad that I did because I'm hungry, a little like irritable, but also extremely happy because we just hit 600 subscribers. I think it's currently at like 601. It's 5/16 right now, February 1st. So yeah, this is a pretty cool way to start off the month. I am starving right now, so I'm trying to get this video wrapped up. Thank you guys so much for liking, viewing, commenting, subscribing. I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, and if not, I will give you a reason to tomorrow. All whisked thoroughly through, all whisked thoroughly on whisked together thoroughly, whisked together thoroughly over the heat. I just said the word whisked like 8 times and I can't, I'm about to